The sledgehammer falls, a Hank Sledge mystery. The rain hammered down on the city like God himself was trying to wash away the filth. Fat chance. This town had grime in its bones, corruption in its bloodstream. I stood at the hospital window, watching the water streak down the glass, and thought about how Ryan Hanks was lying 3 floors below me with tubes running out of him like some kind of sick science experiment. Ryan was more than a colleague. In this business, you don't get many friends. Most people think private investigators are bottom feeders, ambulance chasers with a detective license. Maybe they're right about some, but Ryan Hanks, he was one of the good ones. We'd started out together 20 years ago, fresh out of the service, both of us too dumb to know we were trading one war for another. Now someone had put 3 bullets in him and left him in an alley off 7th Street like yesterday's garbage. I lit a cigarette and let the smoke curl toward the ceiling. The nurse would give me hell, but I didn't care. The doc said Ryan had maybe a 50-50 shot. Those weren't odds I liked. 50-50 meant luck, and luck was a dame who'd stopped returning my calls years ago. My phone buzzed. The display showed a number I didn't recognize. "Sledge," I answered. "Mr. Sledge, this is Diane Slay." The voice was female-controlled, but I could hear the tremor underneath, fear wearing a mask of composure. "I believe you know Ryan Hanks." "I know Ryan. I hired him 2 weeks ago. My husband went missing and Ryan was looking into it. I just heard what happened to him and I—" She paused. I heard her take a breath. "I need someone to finish what he started. Ryan mentioned you once. Said you were the best." Ryan had a habit of overselling me. I was good, sure, but the best. The best don't end up divorced twice with a Scotch habit and a studio apartment that smells like old takeout. "What's your husband's name?" Jimmy Slay. He's been gone 3 weeks now." "Police involved?" "They filed a report, said he's an adult, free to leave if he wants. But Jimmy wouldn't just leave. We have 2 kids, Mr. Sledge. He coaches Little League. He's a good man. They're always good men until you start digging, but I didn't say that. I'll need to see Ryan's notes, whatever he had on the case. I have everything he gave me. Can you meet me tomorrow morning? There's a diner on Lexington and 42nd, the Bluebird." "I know it, 9 o'clock." She thanked me and hung up. I took another drag on my cigarette and looked down at the city below. Somewhere out there, Jimmy Slay was either dead or wishing he was. And somewhere out there, the bastards who shot Ryan were walking around, breathing my air, thinking they'd gotten away with it. They hadn't. The Bluebird Diner was a relic from the 50s, all chrome and red vinyl that had seen better decades. Diane Slay was already there when I walked in, sitting in a back booth with a coffee going cold in front of her. She was mid-30s, pretty in a suburban way, with worry lines that hadn't been there long. "Mrs. Slay." I slid into the seat across from her. "Diane, please." She pushed a manila folder across the table. "This is everything Ryan gave me. His notes, photographs, receipts. He said he was close to finding something, but he wouldn't tell me what. Said he didn't want to worry me until he was sure." I opened the folder. Ryan's handwriting stared back at me, that cramped scrawl I'd learned to decipher years ago. The case had started simple enough. Man stops coming home. Wife gets worried. Jimmy Slay worked as a sales manager for a printing company called Apex Press. Good job, decent money, no obvious vices according to his wife. Ryan's early notes tracked the usual suspects. Other women, gambling, drinking. All came up empty. Jimmy was clean, too clean, maybe. Then Ryan's investigation shifted. The notes got sparse, careful. He'd started watching Apex Press, taking photos of people coming and going. One name appeared multiple times, circled in red, Marcus Vane. "Who's Marcus Vane?" I asked. Diane shook her head. "I don't know. Ryan asked me the same thing. I'd never heard Jimmy mention him." I studied the surveillance photos. Marcus Vane was a big man, ex-military by the look of him, with the kind of face that had stopped too many fists. He appeared in 6 different photos, always near Apex Press, always alone. "Did your husband seem nervous before he disappeared? Scared?" "No, that's what's so strange. He was excited, happy even. He said he'd stumbled onto something big at work, something that could set us up for life." She looked down at her cold coffee. "I told him I didn't care about money, I just wanted him safe." The last note in Ryan's file was dated 3 days ago. "Apex Press, midnight, check back room." That was the night someone had shot him. "I'll find out what happened," I told her. "To both of them?" Apex Press sat in the industrial district, a squat brick building that had probably manufactured legitimate goods once upon a time. Now it just manufactured questions. I spent 2 days watching the place, learning its rhythms. Day shift came in at 8, left at 5. Night shift was smaller, maybe 3 or 4 guys, all of them with the look of hired muscle, not printing press operators. On the 3rd night, I went in. The back door was alarmed but old. I had it bypassed in under a minute. The warehouse floor was dark, lit only by the exit signs and the glow from the street outside. Printing presses lined the walls like sleeping dinosaurs, but they were cold, unused. Whatever Apex Press was printing these days, they weren't using industrial equipment to do it. I moved toward the back room Ryan had mentioned in his notes. The door was locked, but the light was on underneath. I could hear voices inside, muffled but urgent. I pressed my ear to the door. Shipment needs to go out tonight. Vane's getting nervous. Vane's always nervous. We've been doing this for 6 months. Nobody's caught on. Hank's caught on, and now some other gumshoes sniffing around. My blood went cold. They knew about me. So we handle him like we handled Hank's. I'd heard enough. I backed away from the door, intending to slip out and call it in to a cop I knew who wasn't on the take. But I didn't see the box of paper reams behind me until I was on the floor with a crash that sounded like a bomb going off. The door flew open. 2 men came out, guns already drawn. I rolled, got my own piece out, and fired twice. One of them went down screaming. The other dove behind a press and started shooting back. I couldn't win a gunfight here. Too exposed, too many of them. I ran, bullets chewing up the concrete behind me, made it to the back door and burst into the alley. A sedan was waiting there, engine running. The driver's window rolled down. "Get in," a woman's voice. I didn't have time to be choosy. I jumped in the passenger seat, and she floored it before I'd even closed the door. We screamed out of the alley and onto the main street, merging into traffic. Behind us, men poured out of Apex Press, but we were already gone. "Who the hell are you?" I demanded. She was young, maybe late 20s, with dark hair pulled back in a ponytail and eyes that had seen too much. "Kelly Marsh, FBI. I've been working this case for 3 months. FBI, great. Just what I needed. Then why is Ryan Hanks in the hospital and not these guys in custody?" Her jaw tightened. "We needed more evidence. We were building a case. Your friend stumbled into an active federal investigation. He stumbled into bullets." "I know," she glanced at me. "I'm sorry about that. We didn't move fast enough." She drove us to a safe house in Queens, a nondescript apartment that smelled like stale coffee and broken dreams. Inside, she had a wall covered in photographs, documents, flow charts. This wasn't just about counterfeit money. This was bigger. "Apex Press is a front," Kelly explained. "They're printing high-quality counterfeit hundreds. Best we've seen in a decade. The bills are good enough to pass even the advanced scanners most banks use now. We estimate they've put over 50 million in fake currency into circulation in the last 6 months. And Marcus Vane, former Secret Service agent, went rogue 5 years ago. He's running the operation, but he's not the money man. Someone bigger is bankrolling this." "What about Jimmy Slay?" Kelly pulled out a photo. It showed Jimmy with Vane, the 2 of them in what looked like a heated argument. Slay was their inside man at the real printing company that Apex used as a front. He helped them get the right paper, the right inks, all the materials they needed. But something went wrong. We think he tried to back out, demanded more money, or threatened to talk. 3 weeks ago, he disappeared. Is he dead? We don't know, that's the truth. He might be insurance for them, leverage if things go south, or he might be at the bottom of the river. She paused. "Your friend Ryan was trying to find him. He got too close." I looked at the wall of evidence. "So what's the play?" "We raid them tomorrow night. I've got the warrant, I've got the team. We'll take down Vane and everyone in that building. And whoever's running the show," Kelly's expression darkened. "We're working on it." I should have waited, should have let the feds handle it. But Ryan was lying in a hospital bed because these bastards had put him there. And I'd be damned if I was going to sit on my hands while Kelly Marsh got her warrant signed in triplicate. I went back to the Slay house that night. Diane answered the door in her bathrobe, eyes red from crying. "Have you found something?" she asked. "Maybe. I need to see Jimmy's office. Anything he kept at home related to work." She led me upstairs to a small home office. Desk, computer, filing cabinet. I started going through drawers while Diane watched from the doorway. "What are you looking for?" "Anything that doesn't belong. Bank statements, phone records, names you don't recognize." I found it in the bottom drawer, hidden under old tax returns. A burner phone. I powered it on and checked the call log. One number appeared repeatedly, dozens of calls over the last 3 months. The last call was from 3 weeks ago, the night Jimmy disappeared. I dialed the number. It rang twice, then went to voicemail. No greeting, just a beep. "This is Hank Sledge," I said. "We need to talk about Jimmy's sleigh." I hung up and waited. 5 minutes later, the burner phone rang. "Who is this?" Male voice, educated, calm. "I'm the guy looking for Jimmy's sleigh, and I think you know where he is." "Mr. Sledge, I've heard about you. You're the one asking questions, making noise. That's dangerous in this business. I don't scare easy." "Perhaps you should. Your friend Ryan Hanks didn't scare easy either. Look where it got him." My hand tightened on the phone. "Here's what's going to happen. You're going to tell me where Jimmy is, and you're going to surrender to the FBI. Or I'm going to find you, and when I do, the cops will be the least of your problems." He laughed. It was a cold sound, empty of humor. "You're welcome to try, but first let me give you a gift, a piece of information. Marcus Vane isn't running this operation. He's just muscle. The real brains behind this. You've already met her." "What are you talking about?" "Kelly Marsh, your new FBI friend. She's been running this counterfeiting ring from the inside, using the Bureau's resources to stay one step ahead. She's been planning to tie up all the loose ends tomorrow night, including you." The line went dead. I stood there, phone in hand, mind racing. It couldn't be true, could it? But it made a sick kind of sense. An FBI agent would know how to run an operation like this, would have access to all the right resources, would know exactly how to stay ahead of any investigation. Or it was a lie designed to turn me against the one person trying to help. I looked at Diane. "Do you know anyone Jimmy trusted? Someone he might have told if he was in trouble?" She thought for a moment. "His brother, Ray Slay. They were close. Ray lives over on the west side, manages a bar called the Copper Penny. The Copper Penny was the kind of dive where dreams went to die quietly. Ray Slay was behind the bar, a harder, meaner version of his brother with prison ink on his forearms and eyes that had seen the inside of a cell. Ray Slay, who's asking? Hank Sledge, I'm looking for your brother." His expression didn't change. "Join the club. I think I know where he might be, but I need your help." Ray studied me for a long moment, then jerked his head toward the back room. We walked past the pool tables and into a small office that smelled like beer and old leather. "Jimmy got in over his head," Ray said without preamble. "Started doing some work for people he shouldn't have been working for. I told him it was a bad idea, but he didn't listen, said it was easy money. Apex Press. Yeah, they were printing funny money, high-quality stuff. Jimmy helped them get set up, got them the materials they needed. But then he found out who was really running things, and he panicked." "Who was running it?" Ray pulled out his phone and showed me a photo. It was grainy, taken from a distance, but clear enough. It showed Kelly Marsh meeting with Marcus Vane outside a restaurant. They weren't acting like cop and criminal. They were acting like partners. My stomach dropped. "Jimmy took this photo 2 days before he disappeared," Ray said. "He called me that night scared out of his mind. Said he'd figured out that the FBI agent investigating the counterfeiting ring was actually running it. He was going to go to the authorities, the real authorities, but he never got the chance." "Where is he now?" "I don't know. I swear, he called me once more after that, said he was hiding, said they were looking for him. That was 3 weeks ago. I haven't heard from him since." I took out my own phone and pulled up the photo Kelly had shown me of Jimmy and Vane arguing. Looking at it now with fresh eyes, I could see it wasn't an argument. They were both looking at something off camera, both tense, both worried. Someone else had been there. Kelly had played me. She'd used Ryan's shooting to get close, to find out what I knew, to keep tabs on the investigation. And tomorrow night's raid? That wasn't going to be a takedown. It was going to be a cleanup. Vane, Jimmy, if he was still alive, anyone who could connect her to this, all of them were going to end up dead, and she'd blame it on an operation gone bad. But there was still one piece that didn't fit. "Who was the voice on the phone?" I asked Ray. "The one who called me back on Jimmy's burner." Ray shook his head. "No idea. Jimmy never mentioned any partners besides Vane." That bothered me. Someone else was in this, someone with enough information to know Kelly was dirty. Someone who wanted me to know. Unless it was another lie, another layer of deception designed to confuse me, to waste time while they cleaned up their mess. I was starting to hate this case. I called Kelly from a payphone, old school but untraceable. "Where are you?" she asked. "I've been trying to reach you. I found something big we need to meet." "The safe house?" "No. Somewhere public, the diner where I met Diane Slay, the Bluebird, 1 hour." She hesitated. "Okay, 1 hour." I got there early and positioned myself where I could watch the entrance. Kelly arrived exactly on time, alone, wearing jeans and a jacket that probably concealed her service weapon. She looked nervous. "Good." She slid into the booth across from me. "What did you find?" I put the photo Ray had given me on the table between us. "Want to explain this?" Her face went pale. For a second, just a second, I saw real fear in her eyes. Then it was gone, replaced by that federal agent mask. "It's not what you think. It never is. You want to tell me what it really is, or should I just call the Bureau's Office of Professional Responsibility right now?" She closed her eyes. When she opened them again, they were hard. "I'm undercover, deep cover, have been for 8 months. Bullshit. It's the truth. The counterfeiting ring has connections inside the Bureau. We couldn't investigate it normally. They'd be tipped off. So I volunteered to go dark to get close to Vane, to make them think I was dirty. My handler is the only one who knows." "Who's your handler?" "I can't tell you that." "Then I can't believe you." She leaned forward, her voice urgent. "Hank, I know how this looks, but I'm trying to bring down the entire operation. Vane, his suppliers, his distribution network, and the person funding it all. If you blow my cover now, it all falls apart. Ryan's in the hospital because of your operation." "I know, and I feel sick about it. But if we don't finish this, more people will die. The money these counterfeiters are putting into circulation isn't just crime, it's economic terrorism. 50 million now, but they're ramping up. In 6 months, it could be 1 billion. That kind of fake currency can destabilize the entire economy." I wanted to believe her. God help me, part of me did. But I'd been lied to by experts before, and Kelly Marsh was definitely an expert. "Where's Jimmy Slay?" "I don't know. That's the truth. Vane is keeping him somewhere, but he won't tell me where. Says it's insurance, that if anything goes wrong, Jimmy's his ticket out." "And the raid tomorrow night?" "It's real. I've got a strike team coming from Washington, people I trust. We're going to take down Apex Press and everyone in it." "Including Vane?" "Including Vane." I studied her face, looking for the lie. But either she was telling the truth, or she was the best actress I'd ever met. "I'm coming with you," I said. "Tomorrow night, I want to be there." "Hank, non-negotiable, Ryan's my friend, I'm seeing this through." She nodded slowly. "Okay, but you follow my lead, this is a federal operation." "Sure," I lied. I didn't trust Kelly Marsh, but I also didn't have any better options, so I spent the next day preparing. Checked my gun, cleaned it, loaded it with fresh ammunition, made sure my backup piece was ready. Wrote a letter explaining everything I knew, and gave it to a lawyer friend with instructions to open it if I didn't check in within 24 hours. Then I went to the hospital to see Ryan. He was still unconscious, hooked up to machines that beeped and hummed. The doctors said he was stable, that the swelling in his brain was going down. They said he might wake up soon. I sat by his bed and told him everything. About Diane Slay and Jimmy, about Apex Press and Marcus Vane, about Kelly Marsh and her undercover operation that might or might not be real. Ryan didn't answer, but I like to think he heard me. "I'm going to finish this," I told him. "For both of us." My phone buzzed. "Kelly, pick you up at midnight, wear a vest." The raid was scheduled for 1 in the morning, when the skeleton crew at Apex Press would be at their smallest. Kelly picked me up in an unmarked SUV, and we drove to a staging area 3 blocks from the target. 6 other agents were there, all of them geared up in tactical vests and carrying assault rifles. Kelly introduced me around. They all had that federal agent look, competent, confident, and utterly humorless. The team leader was a guy named Morrison, late 40s, with the flat eyes of someone who'd seen too many bad days. "You're the pie?" he asked me. "That's right. Stay behind us, don't touch anything, don't shoot unless someone's shooting at you. Clear." Crystal. At 12:45, we moved out. The street was empty, the neighborhood dead. Apex Press sat dark and silent, but I could see lights in the back room, same as before. They were there. Morrison gave hand signals. His team split up, surrounding the building. Kelly and I hung back with 2 agents watching the front entrance. My heart was hammering. This was it. At exactly 1 o'clock, Morrison's voice crackled over the radio. Go, go, go! The front doors blew inward with a boom that rattled windows 3 blocks away. The agents poured in, shouting FBI, and get down. I followed Kelly inside, my gun drawn. The warehouse was chaos. Men were running, shouting, drawing weapons. Gunfire erupted, muzzle flashes lighting up the darkness. I dove behind a pallet of paper and tried to make sense of what was happening. But something was wrong. The men shooting back at the FBI, I recognized some of them from my surveillance. They were Vane's crew, but there were others, men I'd never seen before, wearing tactical gear similar to the FBI agents. Kelly, I shouted. Who are those guys? She didn't answer. She was moving toward the back room, her weapon up. I followed her, staying low. Behind me, the gunfight was intensifying. Someone was screaming. We reached the back room. Kelly kicked the door open and went in fast. I was right behind her. Marcus Vane was there, standing next to a printing press that was churning out perfect $100 bills. And sitting in a chair, hands zip-tied, bruised but alive, was Jimmy Slay. FBI, Kelly shouted. Hands up. Vane smiled. It was not a nice smile. Hello, Kelly, right on time. Then everything went to hell. The men in tactical gear I'd seen fighting outside poured into the room behind us. But they weren't shooting at Vane. They were pointing their guns at us. Drop your weapons, one of them said. Kelly didn't move. Morrison, what the hell is this? Morrison stepped forward, his rifle aimed at Kelly's chest. It's over, Marsh. We know you've been running this operation. We know about the accounts in the Caymans, about your partnership with Vane. You're under arrest. My mind was racing. This didn't make sense. Unless Kelly had been telling the truth. Unless Morrison and his team were the dirty ones and this was their cleanup operation. Or unless Kelly had been lying and this was exactly what it looked like. I didn't know. And in that moment of hesitation, Kelly made her choice. She spun and fired 1 shot, center mass. Morrison went down. Then everyone was shooting, and I was diving for cover behind the printing press, bullets tearing through the air where I'd been standing. Kelly was moving like a ghost, firing as she ran, dropping 2 more of Morrison's men before disappearing behind a stack of paper reams. Jimmy Slay was screaming, still tied to his chair. Vane had vanished. I crawled toward Jimmy, staying low. Bullets punched through the printing press above me, sparks flying. I got to the chair and cut Jimmy's zip ties with my pocket knife. Who are you? He gasped. Friend of Ryan Hanks, stay down. More gunfire. Someone was shouting orders. I peeked around the printing press and saw Kelly, pinned down by 3 of Morrison's men. She was bleeding from her shoulder, returning fire when she could, but she was trapped. I made a decision. Maybe the wrong one. Probably the wrong one. But Ryan would have done it for me. I came up shooting, firing at Morrison's men from their blind side. Got one in the leg, another in the shoulder. They went down, and Kelly seized the opportunity, dropping the 3rd with 2 quick shots. Then it was quiet. The gunfire outside had stopped. I could hear sirens in the distance, getting closer. Kelly limped over to me, her face pale. Thanks. Don't thank me yet. I still don't know whose side you're on. The right side, she said. But I know you have no reason to believe me. Jimmy Slay stood up, shaking. She's telling the truth. Morrison and his team, they're the ones working with Vane. Kelly was trying to stop them. How do you know? I demanded. Because I've been working with her for the last 2 weeks. After I found out about the counterfeiting ring, after I realized how deep it went, I went to her. She hid me, kept me safe. We were going to bring down the whole operation tonight, but Morrison must have figured it out. I looked at Kelly. She met my eyes, steady despite the pain she had to be in. The voice on the phone, I said. The one who called me back on Jimmy's burner. That was you. She nodded. I needed you to doubt, to question, to stay away from Morrison. I couldn't tell you the truth. If anyone suspected you knew, they'd kill you. But I could plant seeds, make you careful. The sirens were getting closer. I could see flashing lights through the windows. Where's Vane? I asked. Gone, Kelly said. Out the back, probably. But we've got enough evidence here to bring down his whole network. Morrison's team, the distribution channels, the suppliers, it's over. But I wasn't listening. I was already moving toward the back door, following the trail of fresh footprints in the dust. Vane had run, just like Kelly said, but he wasn't getting away, not after what he did to Ryan. I burst into the alley. Vane was there trying to hotwire a car parked by the dumpster. He saw me and reached for his gun. I was faster. My first shot took him in the chest. He staggered back against the car, his gun clattering to the pavement. I walked closer, my weapon still aimed at his center mass. "That's for Ryan Hanks," I said. Vane coughed, blood on his lips. "You think this is over? You think taking me down changes anything? There's always another operation, another crew. This city runs on corruption, Sledge. You can't stop it." "Maybe not," I said. "But I can stop you." I didn't shoot him again. I just stood there and waited while the life ran out of him, pooling on the wet alley pavement, mixing with the rain that had started to fall. Kelly found me a few minutes later. She looked at Vane's body, then at me. "You okay?" "No," I said, "but I will be." The aftermath took weeks to sort out. Morrison and 3 of his team survived and were facing federal charges for racketeering, conspiracy, and attempted murder. The counterfeiting operation was shut down, and the Secret Service recovered over $30 million in fake bills before they could enter circulation. Jimmy Slay went into witness protection with his family. Before he left, he came to see me. "Thank you," he said, "for finding me, for saving my life. Thank your wife, she's the one who hired Ryan, she's the one who wouldn't give up. I know, I'm a lucky man." He shook my hand. "What you did tonight, most people wouldn't have risked it. Ryan would have done the same for me." Kelly Marsh got a commendation and a promotion. Her undercover operation, despite going sideways at the end, was considered a massive success. She stopped by my office a few days after it was all over. "How's Ryan?" she asked. "Awake, talking, going to make a full recovery, they say. Might be months of physical therapy, but he'll be okay." "Good. That's good," she paused in the doorway. "You know, I wasn't sure you'd back me up in there. When Morrison turned, when everything went wrong, you could have walked away." "I could have," I admitted. "But then I would have been a different person." She smiled. "The world needs more people like you, Sledge. The world needs fewer people who need people like me." After she left, I poured myself a scotch and looked out my office window at the city below. The rain had stopped and weak sunlight was breaking through the clouds. Down there somewhere, someone was planning the next crime, the next con, the next counterfeiting ring. But that was tomorrow's problem. Today, my friend was alive. The bad guys were in custody or dead, and the world kept turning, same as it always had, same as it always would. I raised my glass to the window. "To you, Ryan," I said. "We got him." Then I drank, and the scotch burned all the way down, and it was good.